lives. Okay. So tonight I am streaming live on Facebook over here and on YouTube over here. And typically I do Facebook and Instagram, but most people come through Facebook. I don't get a ton of people. Hi, Jamie. I don't get a ton of people that typically come in through Instagram. So I figured I'm going to try this YouTube live thing. I haven't tried it before, but we're just going to see. We're just going to see how it goes. So I see a few of you hopping on Facebook thus far. So if you want to grab your reading and make sure that you get it tonight, please put I want a reading or your specific question about your business. I'm just doing a little bit of this Palo Santo clearing stuff. If you're catching the replay or if it's your first time watching, I'm Ashley Bradley, the intuitive business coach. And I call these Mondays, I call them Business Magic Mondays. Basically, we do intuitive readings about your business or your future business. And you can ask a specific question, or you can just say, I just want a general reading about my business or my future business. And I'll just pull through whatever's coming through for you. Okay, so I see Jamie is claiming hers first. Okay. So, sorry, this is like a newer Palo Santo, so it's not really lighting. Give me a second. I feel like I want to just cleanse everything first. Okay. All right, so Jamie, I'm going to do yours first, and then if there's anyone else that's joined, you will be after her. Okay. So Palo Santo, it's similar to a sage. It's for raising vibrations, raising energy. Slightly different. Sage is more of like a clearing out, a clearing of energies, like an energetic reset. Okay, so Kai, I'm going to do you after. Oh. Well, I just had a call come in that I ignored it. I don't know what happens when you're live on your phone and a call comes in, but you guys can tell me. So I'm going to do Jamie, and then I'm going to do Kai after that. Perfect. Oh, let me flip it back around. Bear with me, guys. I'm just doing goofy stuff over here. Oh, I just learned something new. If you tap your phone when you're live on your phone instead of your computer, it will turn the screen around. Just beware on your own lives. I usually have Chelsea here that's sort of navigating, I guess I should say, sort of managing the comments and keeping the queue in order. She's not here tonight. So it's just going to be me. So I'm just going to do my best just to keep track of everyone commenting. I do really, really love, though, if you guys have comments or reactions, whatever you want to call it, to the reading. I do like to watch for that. I actually might specifically ask for if something makes sense or a specific question to you. So type back to me, respond to me so that I can feel like we're like, actually in this together. And if I don't see it now, I'll always go back and look later. So I'm going to go first with Jamie. Okay, Jamie Fogel. So we're just doing a general reading right now for Jamie. And the two aspects, Jamie, that I want to pull forward for you is an outcome card, basically just how things are going, the way that you've been working, what are things leading towards as of right now. And again, always remember the free will choice. I say that for everyone that's listening, because if you're not liking the direction of things, it's your opportunity to sort of tweak and adjust and change things up a little bit. And the other one is really what's empowering you and bringing you momentum right now. So I'm going to start with that one. So the Four of Earth card came forward, and it's actually a card about money. So what I'm actually getting, obviously I have a little bit of info since you hop on these readings a lot, but I actually feel like for you, Jamie, what I'm getting from this card is that it's this transformation that's going on in your business and the things that you're looking to expand upon in terms of the money stuff. I feel like that is bringing you a lot of inspiration right now, that there's this greater part of you that gets to be expressed when you're working and thinking about that. It doesn't feel like, it feels like it's still in the, I want to call it like the gathering stages. It doesn't necessarily feel like there's been a lot that's happened with that as of yet, but I do get the sense that this change alone, this kind of new direction, or I want to call it more of an expansion, because it doesn't necessarily feel like anything is leaving behind, but just the expansion of you within your business and the different offerings and things that you do. That in itself just feels like it's creating a lot of energetic momentum for you. So I want you to keep diving in. Okay, I am hearing that it is also time for you to take action, though, as well. So even if it's something small, I do feel like there's a little bit of hesitation to start getting things moving. So even if it's more of a behind the scenes kind of thing, I want you to start digging into that and really laying out what that might look like and what your vision is for it. I think that there's also this something about the purpose statement. I feel like there's this evolution of you and your purpose. And I think that that also is something that when you solidify the impact that you want to make with this change to your business, that's going to continue to empower you and bring momentum to you if you look at it and you read it each day. So I want to read to you next this outcome card, basically where things are headed based on how things are going for you right now. It's this Eight of Earth card. Okay. So it's talking about skilled work being rewarded, learning all there is to know about a topic. So I guess I'm also curious now, have you read or been looking at certain websites? Like, it doesn't necessarily feel like a course or a taking like getting books on the topic, but I don't know if you've been looking for inspiration with other people that do what you do, but I just sort of see you gathering and seeing what else is out there so that you can start to structure what you're thinking of. I don't think that what you're going to do with the things that you're combining, that there's going to be anyone out there that's this like perfect comparison, but I do see that there's this part in your future where you're going to be diving into that a little bit deeper. So I think the momentum part that we're talking about of starting to put things on paper and take some actions, which feels more like foundation building, leads to you being like, okay, this is what I want to learn more, or I'm really curious about this. So just keep that in the back of your mind. So if you are seeing a book or a person or a course that you're feeling called to, I guess get curious on if it's related to you with your business. So that's what I've got for you. Thanks, Jamie. Okay. So I'm trying to see. Hi, Liz. Hi, Scott. You have been doing that, Jamie. I don't know. I didn't read the comment live because I'm like scrolling on the phone today. Okay, so I'm going to do Kai Gooch is going to be next, and then I'm going to do Scott after that. And then anyone else that's watching, chime in. Well, you know what I should probably do before I go to you, Kai, is share this to my other page. See, this is why I need Chelsea, because she just does this stuff for me. But give me a second. I'm going to share this, and then I'll be right back for you, Kai. And if any of you guys have friends, I always say, especially if it's that friend that has been talking about starting their business and they they haven't started it, and they just keep talking about it and delaying, because we all know people like that. Definitely tag them, let them know why you're tagging them, so they're not like, well, I don't have a business, why would I be here? But invite anyone that you think would benefit. Sorry, bear with me. Some people are going to my business page instead, and I just want to put this on my other page so that they can still find us. Okay, Kai. So Kai's asking, do you see me actually being ready to start a business anytime soon? Okay. All right, Kai. I'm just kind of tuning into you right now first before we go to the cards. I'm feeling like there's a little bit of, I want to call it kind of chaos and anxiety that comes in when I first tune into you. And it doesn't necessarily mean that that's a reflection of you. It more so feels like that the anxiety feels like it's connected to the feelings that you have when you think about starting a business. And I'd say that it feels almost like things are sort of disorganized, that there's a lot of work going on right now just to kind of keep things in their places, to keep everything sort of moving forward. So I don't know if right now feels like, this isn't tied to the business yet, but just what I'm getting from you is it feels like a very hectic time. Does that make sense, Kai, that things just feel kind of hectic right now? Because I do feel like that's impacting you. I'm just going all the way down to the bottom so I can see if you're responding to me, Kai. Okay, so I do want to talk about the challenge for you, and it's this Justice card. And there's a few different things that are mentioned, but I feel like it's a certain aspect of it that feels really related to you. Okay, it does make sense. So this is the first card that I'm getting in terms of the challenge. So it's really coming down to belief systems that I feel like a part of the chaos and the hectic stuff. It's a lot of internal stuff. So, there's a saying that's like, I am 10% of what happens to me, and the other 90% is the way that I react to it, or my mindset and perspective on it. It does feel like right now you're in this stage of awareness and growth and learning, that you are starting to see things and become aware of things in a different way than you have previously. And I feel like this is a big part of it, of starting to see and unpack those belief systems and noticing how limiting beliefs are holding you back. Because it feels like if you were to start like right now, like as of today, it feels like it would be a fight, kind of like a battle against yourself, really, like of making it harder than it should be. So I feel like a lot of your foundation work of getting ready is really setting the stage with getting your belief systems to a more empowered place and building more awareness around it. Now, I do want to say it doesn't necessarily mean that has to take forever, because I think sometimes we look at that kind of work and we think, oh, that's just going to take years. That feels exhausting. That feels tiring. But I do think that we can actually switch to empowered belief systems a lot faster than you think. So I just want you to keep that in mind as well, that I'm not necessarily saying that that this is going to take a long time, but I do feel like it's something that you need to address kind of first and foremost, because that's going to lay the groundwork for you to be jumping off, kind of a diving off point into the rest of your business. The other thing that I want to read for you is this World card. It's Archangel Michael, who is very tied to purpose. So I'm also seeing the other side of that foundational work being you getting more in touch with your purpose, because I think, okay, it feels right now like it's a little bit more general. It feels like there's I really want to help. I want to be of service, but I don't know that you've kind of fine-tuned it enough to where it really drives you forward at this point. So I think that that's the other part of your foundation, is that if you were to start a business without the purpose, then it feels like it would be a little bit backwards. And that for you, when the purpose comes in, that's when a lot of the inspiration comes in as well, because now it's like, it's bigger than just you starting a business. There's all these other people and these other things that are going to be impacted. So it's, the card itself says a job well done, joy, contentment, gratitude, the path towards enlightenment. So honestly, I feel like, tell me if this sounds right, Kai, but it does feel like you're going through like your own awakening process, that you are waking up and realizing a lot of things, that you're diving into your own sense of spirituality. And it does feel like all of this is certainly building towards that. But I think that as of right now, what I'm getting for you is you're being pointed towards like empowered belief systems and purpose. Like that comes first, and then you get to decide what vehicle you want to hop in to go and make that impact and make that money. That makes sense. Okay, good. Because I do think that oftentimes we forget those parts. And I'll be honest, before I had this business, I tried to sort of mold my business around to make it fit these parts, since I discovered it later, versus now this business is a totally different thing, because everything is created from an empowered belief system, from being really clear on the purpose and impact that I want to make. So get those pieces in place. I know that that's probably not a clear answer of like, oh, does it feel like it's sometime soon? It feels like you're on the path to it. And these are the adventures you get to have first. So thank you, Kai. Thank you, Kai. So I am going to go to, I know Scott Ware is going to be next from Facebook. And I see, hi, I see someone actually on YouTube. Shirisha, is that how I say it? Shirsha? I'm trying to type back to you. Shirsha. So welcome to you, Shirsha, now that I'm live over here on YouTube as well. If you would like a reading tonight, whether it's about your business or your future business, all you have to do is type a comment like, I'd love a reading, or here's the question that I'm like dying to ask you about my business, and I'll see what I get through the reading. So join us, like put your comment in. I'd love to do a reading for you too. Okay. So I'm going to scroll back up. Hi, Emily. Emily, if you're on want a reading, let me know. Okay, Scott. But I think, Emily, you would be next after Scott, but I didn't know if you wanted a reading or not. So just clarify that for me, and then I'll check the comments as I go down. Okay. Hi, Molly. Sorry, I'm noticing my phone is like shaking around as I touch it. So, Molly, let me know if you want a reading tonight as well. Okay. So I'm going to do Scott, and then Emily is going to be after. Let me just get a little water. Okay. Okay. Scott, I guess I'm curious, the first thing that comes in for you before I look at the card is, have you been mulling over a decision? Because I kind of get the sense of this sort of going back and forth, as if there's a decision that you're trying to make and you're sort of like weighing options on different things. Like it feels like you're being very calm and strategic about it. But I guess I'm curious. That's like the first, I guess, the energy that's coming in with you before I even look at these cards. Give me just a moment. Just checking in on this. Okay. So the first thing I want to chat with you about is what's really bringing you momentum right now. What's really pushing you forward and bringing you momentum. It does feel like I'm just noticing how my hand wants to get involved in it as well. And I'm always like just paying attention to these little things that come in and change with each person. It does really feel like there's also this big push that's being made right now. I mean, I personally see you as like a kind of driven go-getter. So not that that's surprising, but it does feel like there's something different about this time. There's some sort of different approach about it. So the 3 of Fire is coming forward with you, and it's talking about abundance. It's saying things look good. You do need to have some patience, but it is time to make long-term plans. I don't know if you're looking at hiring someone or outsourcing or delegating something to get it off of your plate, which I know obviously requires some kind of different investment, but that's what's coming in with this as well. Like as soon as I said to you about the making of long-term plans, it feels like that might be something that you've been considering, but you can tell me. I'll let you type back to me and let me know if that's what you were talking about. It does feel like with this, the dragons are always going to symbolize the protection. So I do feel like this initiative, this push that you're making right now does feel very protected. I think that there's also this sense that's coming in of something that you tried before in the past, but it didn't work out the way that you wanted it to. I wouldn't necessarily say that it was a quote failure, but that there was something that it actually kind of feels more like related to like a relationship or a business relationship. It feels like there was maybe something that was tried, that it didn't really kind of like pan out or bring I want to call it like the return on investment that you were hoping that it would. So it does feel like you're wanting to be reminded right now, and that when you remind yourself that this is a different place, that you're in a different place, your business is in a different place, that's one of the things that does bring you a lot of abundance. I know that you like Abraham Hicks. I do as well. So I feel like whenever I'm talking to you about abundance, I feel like that's something that I'm just wanting to remind you of right now, since this is the card that's all about momentum. Like I just see you having different days and weeks when you're listening to that. So that's a reminder, I guess, from your spirit team. The other thing is really what clients, customers are appreciating about you, seeing about you. And sometimes this might be different than our perspective of what let me rewind this a little bit. Sometimes what we think the services that we're providing might be different than what people are seeing as the service that they're really wanting or needing. So this is really the thing that you're magnetizing right now in terms of clients. And it's talking about intimate relationships and health. So it's interesting because I do feel like you actually have these deeper connections with clients and customers, and that the deeper connections that you have with people, that ends up being something that then turns into business for you. So I don't exactly know how things go down within Radiance, but I do feel like a meeting with you ends up being longer. Like, I don't feel like it's like these short meetings where it's just like, these are our packages, like, which one is best for you? These are our options. Like, I'm sure that you have options like that, but I'm seeing your connections, your meetings with people being these like lengthier like conversations where you're really understanding their goals and the desires. And it does seem like the way that you're serving this audience is coming from this very pure place and that people feel that. I know that other people probably might see that from the outside and might have some thoughts on what's, quote, like efficient, but it does feel like that's like a part of your magic of what works and what people appreciate about you, is that it's talking about intimate relationships, weighing your options as well, that it seems like people come to you as well trying to get things sorted out. So I feel like the service that you provide is one thing, but what people get from you and what they're magnetized to you for is so much of a bigger thing. I don't know if you're aware of that, but this is the card that's coming forward with that. Okay. Well, thanks, Scott. Okay, so I'm going to go to Emily and then Maureen. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to take a moment just to connect in with you, Emily. Okay. Okay. So it's interesting because I feel two different kind of almost opposing energies that come in with you. And I'm kind of curious if you, there we go. Technology. I'm just curious if these energies that I'm feeling resonate with where you are right now. And it's funny, I just noticed I'm rubbing my hands together because I almost feel like it causes a little friction because one of them feels more like your natural state. The other one feels more like, I want to call it the conditional state. And it feels like it's causing a little bit of friction, not only because you're experiencing it, but then you're just like, why does it feel this way? This isn't how I usually am. This isn't how I usually feel. And I feel like that's the friction that's coming in. So one side is this very like high vibe energy. I mean, knowing that you're a healer totally makes sense, but I just feel like the energy just shot up like really high as soon as I connected with you. The other one, it felt like this sense of like, these things are in order now, and I'm going to take like 2 steps forward, but then there's like a step backwards that I'm taking here. And this sense of sort of frustration and almost, I want to call it exasperation of just trying to keep things in order. Like, okay, this is moving forward. Now there's this over here. So it just feels like there's a lot of that right now, but it's still mixed in with you, that higher vibe energy that I was talking about. So wanted to just preface it with that, and then I'm going to go to the cards. So I want to talk about really what's bringing in abundance of clients, abundance of money for you, and it's this Archangel Michael card. It's organization and logic, structure, discipline, leadership. So I'm going to show the card here. Emily, does that make sense, by the way, those two energies? Does that resonate with what you've been feeling lately? So what I want to talk about in terms of this is really the card that I would say the abundance card represents, like the marketing aspects, what really magnetizes and draws people into your business. Is the first thing that came in is that there's more of you that I feel like they're wanting you to infuse within your business, because I do feel like when you're inserting yourself in it a little bit more, that there's the energy of you that comes with it. There's the energy, I mean, obviously Archangel Michael, like we talked about a few readings ago, being about purpose, that I feel like people really get that sense of you. I know that there's sometimes this, I don't know, kind of a little weirdness that comes in if we're putting too much of us into the business because we're wanting to make it about other people. But I do feel like you're really at the core of this, and I do think that you need to insert yourself a little bit more, which means like your own story, your own background, because it feels like people are really wanting to know you. People are really wanting to connect with you, and that they connect with you, they connect with your business and your purpose through you. And so I just want you to be aware of not trying to try not to make sure you're not taking yourself out of it too much, or just making it about the business, because you are the business. The business is you. It's built from you. Is that making sense, what I'm talking about in terms of putting your story more into it? I don't know, like, I'm not sure. I haven't seen your page. I know that I follow your page, but I haven't looked at it recently. So I don't know for certain what you do. This is just what I'm getting purely from the card. So I just want to clarify that. Let me talk a little bit about the outcome, basically. And it's this moon card. It's talking about a lot of things going on behind the scenes, and the need to release a lot of fears that are holding you back. So I'm going to show it over here as well. So whenever this card appears, it's typically when we are in our heads, when we are really kind of trapped by our own perception. So there's certainly, it feels like the inner critic, like the voice of the inner critic that has been chiming in a lot as of late for you, and that's keeping you feeling a little bit constrained and a little bit stuck. I do feel like there's a few things that end up kind of nourishing and feeding you. You keep your own stuff out of the front on purpose. Interesting. Yeah, that might be something to explore or look at, because I think it might be interesting just to sort of flip it on its head and see what's there, because I do feel like it's you that people connect with, that people get this sense of you, they feel your energy, and they feel that resonance and that connection with you, and that's a part of what brings you all of the abundance and the magic. I mean, but it might be an interesting thing for you to explore seeing it a different way. But thank you for the confirmation. So it's talking about these important psychic insights that are coming in right now as well. So I do feel like there's a lot of synchronistic things happening. I don't know if you have been paying attention to them or noticing them. I would say probably yes. I don't know if you've been curious about them enough to like look up their meanings, but I definitely feel like there's a lot of help and support that's coming to you right now. It does feel like, I don't know if it's like an animal, some kind of bird, or some kind of, certain color of butterfly, but it does feel like there's something that keeps appearing, probably some numbers mixed in with there as well. And so I just want you to start watching for those things, because I feel like that's how your spirit team's showing up to support you. And I'm trying to feel like if there's anything else here before I go to the next person. Yeah, I just want to say those two energies, that in some ways right now, while they feel like friction, while they feel different and opposite, that there's a gift in that other energy that's coming in, because it's really showing you and revealing to you the next area of growth for you. It's giving you insight on where to become curious next as you move forward. And so it does feel like, as I talk about these two rivers that feed you, I'll show you guys over here. It feels like that's the source that helps you to feel unstuck. So I do want you to also consider the perspective that while one might not feel like your home energy, that it feels a little foreign to you to feel those things, I want you to see that there's a gift that's coming in for it, because I know sometimes we want to put what I would call like, it shouldn't feel like this. Like, this isn't me. This isn't what I want to be, where we almost start to judge kind of ourselves for being that way or thinking that way. But I feel like it's actually coming in. It's a much different purpose for you. It's serving your purpose. So that's what I've got for you, Emily. Thank you. Okay, let's see. I'm going to scroll up and see who I have. Okay, so I have Molly, and then Juana, who's under Auric Energy Medicine. Okay, Molly and then Juana. Okay, and then we'll see who's after that. I'm just sort of going to the next two people. Thanks, Emily. Bye. Okay. Okay. Molly. Okay. Give me just a moment to get tuned into you, Molly. Okay. Okay. So the first thing I notice is that it's this sense of like my heart beating a little bit faster than usual. It feels like a nervousness, like there's a nervousness about something. It doesn't feel like it's like an overtaking kind of nervousness. It feels like it's something that I want to call it like well managed, but it's there. It's like it's there in the background, but I'm like not letting it impact me. And that's what it feels like for you right now. I'm curious, does that make sense? Is that resonating with anything that you've been feeling? I do want to talk to you about your unique magic and purpose. And I feel like I talked to you about, I can't say for certain, but that was a thought that I had of like, oh, I feel like I've probably pulled a card on this for her before. And the response that I get is, yes, but she needs the reminder. We need her to keep remembering her unique magic and her purpose. Like, so I feel like this is something that right now especially needs to be continually reinforced so that you keep that vision alive. It feels like I'm getting this image right now, like the metaphor of a fire coming in, where it feels like the power of the fire sort of changes. There's times where it's just this smaller spark, and then there's times where it's this like huge inferno of a flame, and it does seem like it fluctuates a little bit. So I feel like they come around and give you different reminders, like when they're wanting to make sure that it stays alive within you. So the Eight of Fire, interesting too. The Eight of Fire is the card that came forward. It's talking about events moving at a fast pace, that delays are over, that there's a lot of things that are happening at once right now. So you'll notice like this card does symbolize a lot of different chaos, a lot of different competing priorities, that there's tons that's happening right now. But I want you to notice, like, you'll notice that there's this dragon that's protecting the one that's in the middle, and that is the purpose for you. That is your why, that is your impact, that is your mission, that is why you are here. So I feel like there is this spiritual protection that comes through. Interesting enough though, as I look closer at this card, like I see these, I've never noticed this before, but I see that there's all of these other little individual dragons on each of those little I don't know what they are, scepters. I'm not sure exactly what they're supposed to be. So it's interesting. It does feel like there's kind of protection that's coming in from all of these different elements. And it seems like however chaotic it might be, that it always works out. And I think that that's an important reminder for you right now on a personal level as well. But this purpose one, it feels like when you are connected and your purpose is shining brighter, it is a grounding and stabilizing place for you. It is a place, and I'm getting a lot of chills, a lot of confirmation chills that are coming in with that one, that when you are really firmly rooted in that place, as chaotic as everything feels, there's something incredibly grounding and centering for you about that. And I've started to feel emotional about it. So I'm curious, is that something that you're aware of? Because it's something that, okay. What they're telling me right now is that it's grounding and stabilizing for you. It's that place where you always return to, kind of, it feels like a sense of home. And that's also the magic that comes for other people as well when they experience it. That I don't even know that people understand it, but they gravitate towards it because it also is grounding and stabilizing, and it feels like home for them as well when you are shining your light really bright. So it is home. Okay. So I'm glad that resonates. So yeah, that message actually hit me the deepest on this call so far than anything else. So I just really want to highlight that for you because it's coming through loud and clear. So just make sure you're making the time and space for that amongst all of the chaos and the stuff that's going on around you, because those are your roots. That is your safe space. That is also how you're impacting other people. And I feel like there's a lot of healing, as you're making this impact and you're serving and supporting on this journey, that there's healing that comes through those connections that you make with other people through what you do. Okay. So I have one other card for you. And I will tell you, I see people kind of coming off and on through YouTube. So if you want a reading, make sure you type to me and say, I want a reading. So I know that you're here and that you want a reading. It could be a question about your business or just general reading about my business. Everyone, including myself. Okay. I'm glad that makes sense to you. And I feel like there's a reason that you're being reminded of it right now. And you probably know what that is already. The other card, it's somewhat related, but it's talking about what empowers you, what's bringing you momentum right now. And I just sort of go to whatever I feel drawn to when I put the cards down. So those just happen to be the two that came forward for you. So it's talking about brilliant new ideas and inspiration, seeing the truth of a situation and a challenging beginning. This is your card. Okay. So, Molly, I get the sense for you that there is this image right here of the spreading the wings, that there's this sense of expansion, of growth, and that when you first go to spread your wings, it sort of feels uncomfortable because they've been kind of clipped, they've been harnessed. And so I feel like there's some discomfort right now that's coming as you go to spread your wings. So I just want you to embrace that. And when you feel that discomfort, be like, yes, this is what it feels like to spread my wings. This is so exciting. I know that I'm spreading my wings right now because I'm feeling a little of that discomfort. So let that bring a smile to your face and give you confirmation that you're doing it. Since I know we don't have, well, at least I don't have actual wings to spread. So I know that sometimes we have to really trust that is happening. So I just want you to continue to do that, because I feel like you are on this great course of growth right now. And so I feel like what's coming in is that you just need to continue to trust that process. You smiled as I said it. Okay, good. They're very much wanting to confirm that you are on the right track, and anything that you're feeling in terms of discomfort, like just to reframe that in your mind. So thank you, Molly. Okay. Hi, guys. Hi, Champagne. Thank you. So I have, I'm going to do Juana on Facebook, and then I'm going to go over here to Jamari on YouTube. And Champagne, if you want a reading tonight, just let me know. I want a reading. I have a question about my business, and you could tell me what that is, or it could just be a general business reading. That's what I'm going to do for you, Jamar, unless you type a question. But I'm going to go to Juana first. And okay. Juana. Okay. And I feel like because this is my first time going live on YouTube, I want to show some love to some people that are joining on YouTube because I'm over here on Facebook on my phone, but I want to get you guys in on the action too, because I feel like I want to show some like YouTube love and like get the party going on YouTube too. So that's what I'm feeling drawn to. I'm going to follow my own intuition of how this is going to go. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to do Juana on Facebook, and then we'll do Jamari and Champagne. And then I'm going to check in over here to see what's going on Facebook for who's next after that. Okay. Cool. So that's the order. Okay. I'd be curious too, if any of you guys do lives on YouTube, I'd love to get your insight, because it's, I've never done it before. So if there's anyone watching that's like, yeah, I go live on YouTube, I'd love to just sort of get your thoughts and chat with you, the differences that you found between other platforms. So let me know if anyone is like a YouTube live pro. Okay. Juana, let me just connect in with you, and then I'm going to look at your cards. Okay. So Juana, your energy comes in as very calming, very centered. I just feel like as I tune into you, I feel extremely grounded. It's interesting. I'm just sort of like throwing down these cards with not too much thought of where I put it, just because typically when you're doing readings, if you think about it too much, that's usually when you get in your own way. But I did pull you a card that's reading what's empowering you and bringing you momentum right now. And then we're also going to talk about what you really need to remember right now as well. And these will both be in terms of your business. Although they're telling me before I look at the cards as well that some of this might actually feel like it's ringing true with a situation that feels somewhat separate to your business, but it's the energy of it that's impacting the business as well. So the card that I pulled for you is this 10 of Water card. It's talking about a rewarding family life, that there's your emotional and material needs are met, that you have very trustworthy relationships. So I'm going to show this card here. I feel like I want to pull another card with it. Okay. Interesting. It's interesting because the card that was all shuffled around in the deck came forward again for you, and it was just a part of the other reading. But it's also talking about that's being paired with these brilliant new ideas, inspirations, seeing the truth of a situation. So I do feel like there's this phase in your personal life that has, I want to call it up-leveled, honestly, that there's this sort of deeper connection, up-level, that's been creating a ton of happiness and abundance in other parts of your life. And it feels like that abundance is really starting to intermix and create abundance in other parts of life. Would that make sense, Juana? Because I do feel like that's related to the inspirations that are coming in. It feels like it started in one area, like there was this, it feels like something that you intentionally nurtured and grew and really wanted to spend some time really nurturing these different parts of your life and bringing more fulfillment there. It does feel like there's this element of choosing to be more present, of noticing when you might start to grab your phone, for instance, or kind of take yourself out of the moment. So I do get this. It makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I do get this sense for you that even though it doesn't feel related to business, as you know, I mean, auric energy medicine, it's like that energy, it permeates, it really kind of just spreads out and goes everywhere. And so there's certainly this abundance energy that feels like it's spreading everywhere. And that's what's bringing you a lot of momentum right now. And you probably notice things happening like when you're just like off enjoying time with friends or family or having fun. And then all of a sudden you like look at your phone and someone just Venmo'd you, or you see that there's like all these bookings that came through. It feels very much like that kind of energy where it's almost like you're not even thinking about it, where it's just sort of magnetizing it because you're just really having a great time in other parts of your life. And that's really working for you. So the other card is the most important thing for you to remember right now. It's a very powerful card. It's this Magician card. Okay. So this card is talking about you are ready. You have the resources and the ability to manifest them, and life is magical. So this card is very much a reminder of your own power, that as powerful as I think that you know that you are, because it feels like you've probably gone leaps and bounds above and beyond probably the inner work that most people have done. It does really feel like there's this calling forth to actually up level it again, because it's obviously a never ending growth process. Things never stop, right? So I just want you to recognize that, and whatever you've been thinking about doing, because I feel like there's this idea, this thought that's been kind of coming in of what you want to do next, but you haven't quite made the decision to take the leap yet. But I just want you to know, like, yes, you're ready, and to really just drop into that magic that you have to create and manifest everything, because there's clearly no reason why you couldn't with everything else you've created. Okay. So who is still on? I don't know. Champagne, are you still on? I think Jamari might have jumped off. Champagne, are you still on for YouTube? I'm trying to see who's still live with me, because one person dropped off, and then that'll be, you're here. Okay, so I'm going to go to Jamari, and then to Champagne, and then we'll see what we have going on Facebook. But thanks, Juana. I hope that connected with you. Thank you for joining. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to do just a general reading for you, Jamari. Am I saying your name correctly, by the way? Hopefully. Okay. There's probably a few different aspects because one card just jumped out. So we might end up. Thank you, Juana. So we might end up actually pulling this third one in, because sometimes when it just leaps out of the deck, it's just meant for you. Let me just check on something really quick before I dive in. Okay. So my first question and curiosity that I have for you before I go to the cards is there some kind of change that you're looking at within your business? Because it feels like you have a business, but that there's maybe a different one that you want to start, that there's something different that you're wanting to do. Is that making sense for you? Because that's what I'm initially feeling. Because the first sense that I had for you was that you didn't have, you hadn't started your business as of yet. But then as I checked, I just sort of grabbed my pendulum off to the side. What I was getting is that, like, yes, you have it, but this one seems to be very different, which, as I'm saying that out loud, I'm not even sure that you're aware of that, but I'm kind of curious. Type back to me and let me know if that makes sense to you, because I feel like there's this big growth expansion process that's happening for you. So I do get the sense you have business ideas. Okay. Yeah, I get the sense that there's something very different that's coming in for you. So that would make sense. Okay. So in terms of just how I'm feeling your energy within the future business, it's talking about happy outcome, brilliant new ideas that lead to success, and a big part about having confidence in yourself. So I feel like the confidence part is what's standing out to me, just because of all the yellow that I see in the card. I'm connecting it with the solar plexus chakra. So I do really want you to pay attention, whether you're looking up, affirmations or meditations around the solar plexus. Your solar plexus certainly needs some nurturing, because I feel like I want that to be really strong within you before you go out and start to plant your seeds and to do all the work within your business. But it feels like anything that's standing in your way as of right now is more so that that feeling of sort of the inner critic questioning things, and too much, I'm looking for the right words right now. It feels like there's too much belief in really what the inner critic is sort of saying and feeding you, when it's really kind of a lot of bullshit, kind of just automatic programming stuff happening. So I definitely want you to really just start working solar plexus primarily. Write down all those ideas, let the energy of that gather, but the solar plexus and the confidence are really needing to be nurtured right now. In terms of where you need more, a little more balance right now, it's the 6 of Water card, and it's talking about these past memories, a little bit of reminiscing of the past, and there's this other card that's coming in about financial security. So there's a few things that I'm getting. Did you have a parent that had a business, or a family? It feels like it's either a parent or a family member that's close to you. If you can confirm that, Jamari, because I feel like there's this sense of you watching someone else have a business, and that there was this big part of you that wasn't really sure if that was for you, and a lot of your belief systems and the way that you view different perspectives around business ownership came from that time. Does that make sense, Jamari? That there somebody that you have these memories of having a business when you were young? Because that's really related right now to you, and some things that need a little bit of kind of past healing and need to be left behind. I haven't seen you type back to me yet. And then I see as well that there's that the thing that the inner critic is bringing up most for you. Your mom has a bakery. Okay. Your mom has a bakery. Okay. Yeah. So I do feel like I want you to take some time and just think back to those memories growing up of what you saw your mom doing, like as a child, or how she talked about her business, because I do feel like many of those things are tied into your belief systems, and your belief systems, I mean, that's a part of your subconscious. So ultimately that it can really run a lot of the decisions and the actions that you take or don't take. So it's really important to just bring in some new awareness around what those things might be, because sometimes if they go unnoticed, we'll never end up starting the business, right? And And also, I know that your inner critics are going to want to chime in a lot around finances, around financial security, which feels like it's a really big value of yours. And also in terms of like the work-life balance, I feel like one of those belief systems is that it's too hard to have a balanced kind of family life when you're putting everything into the business. So I want you to start to separate some of your own past experiences from the beliefs, so that you can also, while you're working on that solar plexus chakra, start to really put in place empowered belief systems that actually serve where you want to go. So I hope that that helps. Thank you very much, Jamari, for joining me tonight. So I was going to go to Champagne next on YouTube. If Champagne, type to me if you're still on. Thank you, Jamari. Champagne is on. Okay. So I'm going to go to Champagne. Hi, Kimchi. Hi, Mimi. Mimi, I'm curious because you're asking me, is it only a business reading? So I do readings that are centered around business, but it could also be a like a future business, right? If there's certain things that you're curious about in terms of what you would do next. And then I'm going to look at Facebook just to see what's coming up. And let me plug in my laptop. Okay. I might just do one card pulls just so I can get a few more of you guys in. But yeah, Mimi, just clarify what you're looking for a reading. Sometimes people will do career, which I try to keep it more business focused, like current business or future business. Okay. So Champagne saying that she wants to know if her mom kept an inheritance from me, business related. I feel it because it's money that you want to start a business. Okay. I'm seeing what else. Okay. Champagne, I'll see if that comes through. Let me see who else. I want to see if there's anyone else. I feel like SD was the one that I didn't go to. SD. Okay. Yeah. SD, I'm going to do you. So Champagne on YouTube. We'll do SD over here on Facebook. She's still on. And then I see you guys. And then we'll see who else I could get to here on YouTube. Okay. Champagne. Ooh. Okay. So I'm really liking, by the way, being live on YouTube. I used to do a live on Facebook and Instagram, but I would always get all my people on Facebook and I didn't get a ton of people on Instagram. So I'm like loving that it's my first time, and I don't even know how you guys are finding me necessarily, but I'm stoked to be here with you. Okay, so Champagne. Let me see what I have for you. Okay. Let me just. Okay. Okay. So before we dive into the cards, Champagne, what I was doing is just doing like a quick little reading with the pendulum. And if you haven't seen the pendulum reading before, it's basically you ask it more yes/no questions. Sometimes you can set up something, where it's giving you certain numbers or certain things, but all that I focus on with mine most of the time are these yes/no questions. So I'm actually getting that there was not any kind of money or inheritance held back from you. I asked it twice in two different ways and I got no both times. I do feel like you got two fire cards that came forward, and I didn't really pull any of them, Champagne, to be any of the things that I usually read. I just didn't really feel drawn to that for you. But I definitely, I'll read your energy first off, because I feel like you're a fire sign. Okay. I feel like the just really kind of the idea, or it feels like it's something you've been thinking about a lot with that inheritance, and like, oh, was this money withheld, for me to start my business? It feels like that sort of dims your fire. It sort of brings some of your power away. And so I just want you to work on releasing that, because I want you to just start putting all of your energy, into really fueling what you want to create. So there's 2 cards that came forward for you, and they are very powerful cards. The first is the 9 of Fire card, talking about do not give up, protect that which you've created, have courage, and believe in yourself. So I feel like this card is a very strong message for you to dive in, that you need to actually start taking actions, because I feel like most of what you've been doing has been just in kind of the thoughts and planning stages. And I want you to just sort of release any attachment that you have to that you need that specific money, because you're going to start getting into your manifesting when you start becoming open to where the money comes from. It doesn't really matter how the money shows up, whether it shows up through that inheritance or something else. So I really just want you to start to shift your energy into that different place, so that you can start attracting what you're looking for here and really get started. I want to mention that both of these cards they have the dragons on them. And so the dragon cards are always going to come through as a sign of protection, which leads me to believe, Champagne, that what you want to create is related to your mission and your purpose. It does feel like you have a business that is really focused on an impact. And while it might not look surface level to have an impact, that you know, right, what the impact is. So the other card coming through, okay, good, is the King of Fire card. It's talking about focus, like communicate with vision, be a leader, and advice from someone creative. Okay, so I feel like as I read this card to you, that the words that come to me, it's sort of like a different combination of words from this card, and it is to lead with your vision. That when your vision is front and center, where you get so connected to it that you could see it, that you could feel it, that you could taste it, that it pulls you, that actions start happening. You can't help but take actions because you were just so fired up by this vision. So I really want you to use that to your advantage, because anything else is just a distraction. So as this card's talking about focus, it is just really kind of pointing you towards how you get centered and what pulls you. Thank you, Champagne. And for all you guys joining me on YouTube, I do this every Monday at 7 Pacific. So you're welcome to come back. I'd love to have you guys back again. Okay. I'm going a little bit over just so I can try to get more YouTube peeps in. So I'm going to USD, and then I'm going to go to kimchi. I'm going to go to kimchi. Okay. Kimchi. So SD on Facebook, kimchi on YouTube, and then sunshine. Okay. Woo. Okay. So that's the list. I'm going to end with those 3. And if I didn't get to you, if you're not SD or kimchi or sunshine from YouTube, then come back next week and hang out. And typically, just so that you guys know, I always end up getting to the people that join right at 7 Pacific, and then it just sort of depends. Some days there's more people than others, but if you're one of the first few to join, you always end up getting a reading. So just put it on your calendar, set a little reminder in your phone. If I didn't get to somebody tonight, then you can make sure you get it next week. Okay. Esty, hi. Okay. Let me connect with Esty. Okay. Okay. So random, Esty, but the first thing that's coming in, are you enjoying the weather right now? Because I just feel like there's the first thoughts that I have is like that all of this sunshine is like really impacting you, that you're just sort of loving the weather right now. That's the first thing that they're sort of talking about, is like that the weather really impacts your energy a lot. And so random, right? I know, but let me know if that makes sense. So the cards that I'm pulling through for you, there's two cards. There's the 5 of air. I know I always am saying like, oh, I'm going to do one card, and then I pull another one. That's just me. So the 5 of air card's talking about choices, that there's a lot to be learned from this situation, and that you're being asked to look at other people's motives. So immediately I want you to tune in, Esty, to situations that are involving other people right now in your business. It actually doesn't feel like other people within your business. Because I feel like your business just you, Esty. It does feel like you're operating your business as just you, but it feels like there's other people that might be involved in the business in terms of like clients, customers, or other just family members that are sort of talking about the business. But it does feel like there's something involving a situation there. Okay, so this is a card about perspective as well. This is the other card. This is the 5 of air card, so you see this as well. Okay. Esty, did you have something weird go down with like a client or our customer? Like, or someone comment kind of negatively or critically about your business? It feels like there's this outside energy outside of you. It's separate from you and your business, but it feels like if what I want to call it is like that it hit right at the heart, that it's something that someone said or did where it really impacted you. It's almost like one of those situations where someone like questions your integrity or your values, where it really cuts deep. Esty, are you watching still? Because I feel like there's this learning and growth that's coming from it. I want to go more in depth, but if you're not watching still, I want to move on to my peeps on YouTube over here. Esty, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go to peeps on YouTube. I really just like it. I like it if the person's still watching live, like, so she started to get one and then I didn't see her anymore. So I'm going to go to the people that are watching live still. Okay. So Kimchi Bay and then Sunshine. And of course, Kimchi, are we just going to do a general? Okay, wait, I see what you're saying. You've been thinking hard about your new business. Okay. Okay, so kimchi business. Okay, just wanting to make sure. Okay, so I did actually pull a few different aspects. I have a certain layout that I do with the full thing is 9 cards. That's 9 different aspects of business, but usually I just pull for 2 for these quicker readings. So the ones that I want to pull in for you is unique magic and purpose within your business, and also your energy within the business. So I'm going to start there with my read on your energy within your business. And it's talking about 8 of air, this illusion of being trapped, this lack of self-confidence and a fear of taking action. So there's this energy of like stepping out. It's almost, I'm like giggling because it feels like a funny thing to say, but I have to give what I get. It's sort of this energy of a stepping out of the closet, which I don't know. I use that term a lot in terms of stepping out of the spiritual closet. So I don't know if there's something that you've kept kind of close to yourself where you haven't shared it and expressed it as much. But when it talks about this illusion of being trapped, it feels very much like it's something that you've kept more private or only with like a close circle of people around you. And it does feel like it's vulnerable for you to be putting it out there. There's this sense of vulnerability. So when it's talking about a lack of self-confidence, I don't feel like you have a lack of self-confidence in general at all. I feel like it's with this specifically, that this is tender for you, that this is something that you are just sharing your heart and soul in a different way for your art. Okay. Yes. Okay. That would make sense. Okay. Yeah. And so there is this sense of that you are stopping yourself, that there's things because of that where you're not playing full out, where you are not taking as many risks as you should be and just like really going big, because it feels like you're sort of keeping it small right now when it does feel like it needs to be much more expansive. It's also this sense, whenever I feel like this sense of leaving the pack like that, I really connect it back to the self-expression that it's sort of like embracing of the weirdness, like of just like really going for it and not necessarily taking anything personal of other people's thoughts or feelings. But it's like really this separation where I know it starts to feel like you're leaving the pack at first, but I feel like essentially when it's talking about this illusion of being trapped, that other people are actually going to look to that as inspiration, that they're going to be like, well, shit, like, look at her doing her thing now. Like that might not be my thing, but if she could do it, like, I wonder what I could do. So I just want you to start to shift your perspective, okay, around that as well, because I know that sometimes we start to think that certain things that we do, I mean, like what I do, for example, is not everybody's thing. But even though there's, I'm sure, people, right, that see it and this might not be their thing or what they're interested in, but it's when you are playing full out, it's very permission giving to other people. So I just want you to keep that in mind. The other card's talking about your unique magic. And it's talking about your inflow of abundance, this promising business venture, and that there's some important documents or contracts. So I feel like there's a few kind of logistical behind the scenes things. Okay. So the what I'm hearing right now really clearly is that there's this embracing and owning of the power. So similar to what we were talking about, that a lot of your purpose is that when you are really sort of doing your thing, playing full out, that a lot of the impact that you bring through what you do, it's not necessarily what you're doing and creating with art, but that there's this sense of the impact of other people watching you and what that inspires in others. So I just want you to keep that in mind, that it's actually bigger than just the people that experience it. That there's this sense of, I actually feel like whatever you're doing now, there's going to be another twist to it. I feel like I see you as sort of this guide. Like I see you starting the journey on your own, and then in the future that you're going to help other people navigate this journey, and you're going to start to empower other people to do it. So I don't know if that's entered your mind as of yet, but it's almost kind of like a coach for creatives, for art. Like I see you basically expanding. You feel like you do that. Okay. Yeah. Like a mentor. Yeah. So I feel like there's this with whatever you're doing, like that's going to be like a jumping off point for something else. Okay. So thank you, Kimchi. Okay. So I am going to be ending with Sunshine. Hi, Jareen on Facebook. I'm just wrapping up for the night. I went like 20 minutes over. But I'm going to end with Sunshine. And then if you could come back next week when I start at 7 Pacific each day. Each Monday, I start at 7 Pacific on Monday. And definitely if you're one of the first people on, you always get a reading. So I hope that you come back. Thank you for joining tonight. Sunshine is asking, can I know what this career opportunity will be? Getting through J, creativity, art. I have a business I really want to start one day. Okay. So I think this is sort of just that you're looking for details around what your future business would be. Is that right, Sunshine? Sunshine, are you still here? Okay. Sunshine, if you can type to me. And hi, Sophia. Sunshine's going to be the last one. Okay. Okay. You know what you want to do. Okay. So, yeah, there was something about business opportunity I will be getting through Jay, and I didn't know if that the career opportunity was the same as the business opportunity. Okay. I'm just going to pull a couple things that I'm feeling for you. And you're going to be the last one. And then I am planning, I really liked being on YouTube tonight. So subscribe, like whatever you do to hear about these things on YouTube. And then you can see when I go live next week and come back and be one of the first people, and I'll give you a reading. Okay, so I do want to talk to you a little bit about things that are happening right now, just career, professional wise. It's talking about things that are happening really fast. So I do get this sense that the metaphor I want to use is that you've like planted a lot of seeds, that there's a lot of preparation that you were making to start to have this stuff come about. And it almost didn't seem like things were happening very quickly, but now it seems like you're entering into this next stage where there's a lot of options coming up. I don't know if you're aware of it yet. I don't know if you're only aware of this other opportunity, but I guess I'm just wanting to tell you as of right now that it feels like there's other things that are coming as well, other options. I feel like I want to highlight the word options, that you have choice and option. It is also talking about, okay, yes, it's saying time to carefully review your options and look for creative solutions. Okay, so that's the first card that's coming up for you. It's this Knight of Air card. It does feel like, okay. I do feel like there's this need. Would you say, Sunshine, that you're not really clear on your purpose, your why as of yet? Is that something that you've been wanting more clarity around? Something that you've thought about? Because I guess the sense that I'm getting is that what it feels like for me is it's something that you've scratched the surface on, but you haven't really like dived deep into it. So I do feel like it's almost like there needs to be a willingness for you to, okay, exactly. Yeah, it feels like I'm mentioning it because I feel like this is a seed that I'm planting for you, that it's time for you to dive into that a little bit deeper, because I think that there's some exploration and some things that you need to do that are going to be a part of those options. And I really want you to be clear on that before you, I want you to be clear on that before you start any kind of a business. So you're not sure because you have a degree in counseling, but your passion is more art therapy. Okay. Let me read what these cards are and we'll see what they have to say. Okay, so the 10 of Earth card is talking about financial security, finding magic in the little things in life, a happy family life. So there's that energy that's coming forward. The other one is this card of expecting the worst, self-fulfilling prophecies, and sleepless nights. So these cards came together. So I feel like there's this sort of teeter-tottering energy where there's times where you're just sort of in the joy and magic of like, wow, like the possibilities, like there's so many things I could do. This is awesome. And then the other part is like, well, what's going to go wrong? Like, well, what if this doesn't work out? Like, this is crazy. Like, it feels like very, very opposing energies right now. And I also see you working really hard, trying to figure it out, trying to use your logical mind to figure it out instead of accessing these greater parts of you, your intuition, the wisdom of your body. Spirit's pushing you to go back and get your master's. That's the sleepless nights. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I feel like there's this blend of things. Like what I see right now is that you're looking at your options laid out in front of you, and you're seeing your options based on things that exist today that have already been created, professions that are already sort of well known and recognized that have a title. But I feel like for you, like as soon as I was like seeing this word balance, since that was what I wanted to talk to you about with the cards, is how you need more balance, is I feel like there's this intermixing, this intermingling, like that there's things that might seem very different, kind of like how I take my business coaching and my readings, but I apply spirituality and intuition to business. It's like these two things that don't really seem like they go together. Like I feel like there's something like this for you, where it's like it's sort of, it feels like a merging of the paths. So I feel like you've been okay. My husband's a Libra too, so there's that. Okay, so I feel like it feels like this for you, like it's been these very different paths, and that sometimes they've sort of come in a little bit closer, meaning like you might have borrowed from one thing to have inspiration for others, but I don't know that you've explored what it looks like for them to be like this, like moving forward, maybe mixed in and sprinkled in with a few other things, because I feel like there's probably I feel like they're talking about that there's some other kind of like talent or thing that you're actually really good at, but that you don't even realize how good you are at it yet, is connected all together. Okay. So I feel like this is definitely your confirmation right now of connecting it together. I know that sometimes it feels like a longer journey or a more arduous journey to create something that's never been created before, because there's not necessarily like a handbook of how to do it or other examples of how other people have done it. But I feel like that's really going to work to your advantage, because that you're going to be accessing your creativity and your intuition more often instead of trying to fit into the mold of some kind of industry. So I feel like you are very much being pushed to really like not try to like remold something just to fit you, right? But that you're creating something that it honestly feels like it hasn't really existed like this before. So I do also get the sense, let me check on this really quick. Okay. I'm wondering, when you work with people, okay, is there a way that you've thought about it in terms of, it feels like a sense of empowerment, like when you work with people, but also like this sense of, the words that are coming really is like the light shining brighter, like that one of your impacts that you make is supporting other people and shining their light brighter, because I feel like this is a journey that you're on. Like I just get this, I get this sense about you that you are this very bright light, but that you've been so much around sort of other people and bright lights that like, I don't even know that you know really the power of it. And so, yeah, like I just am getting this sense that a part of your impact is sort of, giving really other people permission to shine their light brighter, like that, and a lot of that comes from you and who you're being more so than what you're doing. Okay. Yeah. And so I really want you to, I feel like that's what I want to leave you with is, don't worry so much about the exact vehicle that you're expressing this purpose in, as long as you're honoring that purpose and you're expressing that purpose and that impact, then you're serving your purpose. And I think that seems like you understand it. I feel like maybe you haven't named it or you don't connect with it, but I just really want to leave you with that who you are being in this is far greater than what you are doing and how you are expressing it. That the being part of it is the part that holds the power. It's magnetic. It's energetic. And so I just feel like that's something that you really need to be grounded in right now, because I think that there's, like how we talked about, the trying to figure it out, and feel like, oh, it has to be done in this certain way. Like, I feel like the way is less important, that it's more the way that you do it is more about your own enjoyment and self-expression of who you are here in this specific lifetime. But I feel like the impact, it just seems like it's already being made, and it's now for you, it feels like you're at the place where you get to choose what's going to be the greatest impact, what's going to be the path that makes the greatest impact. So I just want you to know, since I kept talking to you about the options and choices in the beginning, to keep that front and center, because I feel like for you, ultimately, your fulfillment comes from honoring that. So I want you to really keep that front and center as you evaluate your options. Well, thank you guys. Thank you, Sunshine. And I hope that you guys come and join me next week. I'll be here. I'll come on YouTube again. It'll be my second time on YouTube Live, and I'll do again Facebook and YouTube, and we'll just go through readings. But if you did not get a reading tonight and you really want to make sure that you get one, or you're watching the replay of this, get there as quickly or as closely, I should say, to 7 Pacific, because the first few people that join, they always get readings. It takes people a little bit to hop on. So bye, guys. Thank you.